Thank you, Honourable Speaker. I thank the Honourable Koya for the question, and it's actually a very good question, Honourable Speaker, because it perhaps gives me an opportunity to just talk a bit about an industry that has great potential for our country. I know I've talked about billion-dollar industries too much in this august house, but this particular one is another real possibility, Honourable Speaker. Speaking to the Reserve Bank Governor just recently, he advised that the foreign exchange earnings from outsourcing industry is around about 200 million, sir. And about 8,000 employees, give or take a couple of thousand. On that trajectory, sir, I would suspect that in 10 years, it should be a $500 million industry. And beyond that, the sky's the limit, Honourable Speaker. It contributes to economic diversification in our country. And is a great way for our young people to actually seek employment, particularly for those who perhaps have no visibility on a career path, just wandering around what they would like to do. It is an excellent opportunity because, Honourable Speaker, sir, the type of training that these young men and women get is basically world-class training, sir, or exposure, work exposure, because they are working for offshore companies. And so the standards, the expectations, the deadline setting, all these very important items when it comes to permanent employment, sir. Our young kids are actually working at an international level. They're sitting in Fiji, sir, but for all intents and purposes, they are offshore, working on behalf of very big organizations. And just as an aside, sir, just recently, one of the larger outsourcing companies in Fiji actually started providing services to the UK Hertz, United Kingdom. This is the rental company, sir. From that, they are now talking about a wider relationship, which may include the global Hertz brand, rental cars, sir. So this is the type of opportunity that is in front of our country, and compliments to the previous government for kick-starting it. I was, of course, still in private sector then and tried to do my bit. And we are just continuing the work. And this industry, sir, has great potential and has great benefit for our young men and women. Over the past 24 months, Honourable Speaker, the Fiji's outsourcing industry has undergone another transformation. And I'd like to report that despite the minimum wage rate, the industry still remains competitive and resilient, and it has emerged as one of the critical players or sectors when it comes to our national economic development. In the last certainly 2 years, since August, there's been a record of about 8 companies that have set up business outsource operations in Fiji, sir, and that number continues to grow. The things that work in the industry's favor is the fact that we are neutral speaking. We've got a very good education level, literacy level, proximity to some of the key economies of Australia, New Zealand, and the US, and even Europe is starting to consider, and the UK are starting to consider Fiji as a real option. So these are, and of course there's a cultural similarity. Everyone knows that when an Australian or a New Zealander calls and they realize that you're talking to someone from Fiji, it suddenly turns into a rugby conversation. And these are the types of cultural similarities that have created great benefit for the industry. The other thing that we're seeing, Honourable Speaker, sir, is one particular outsourcing company, which is a large operator, starting to consider operations outside the normal city locations. So right now they are operating out of in Rasa Bitongo, just outside Lautoka. They are operating in Nabu, and these are a couple of hundred young men and women, taking the work closer to the rural or the places of dwelling. There is potential, sir, to perhaps, according to that company, to even move into Lambasa, potentially, and maybe South. And with the cable being installed from Lambasa down to South by Telecom, that actually has a real opportunity as well. Apart from that, Honourable Speaker, the knowledge process outsourcing has been asked here in this House on occasion, and that's also developing and evolving. We have one company, sir, in Fiji that is already has 12 staff, local staff, doing artificial intelligence in Fiji, sir. And that's just crept up in the last 12 months. So the potential, sir, for this industry is very exciting, and it's very promising, sir. And as a government, we will continue to support this industry as best we can to ensure that we realize some of the real benefits that are in this industry. And just to give you an example, sir, Google, who we're developing a partnership with, their Philippines call center is 30,000 strong. Wonderful if we can get at least 5,000 of that at some stage in the future, sir. In terms of the specific questions raised around wages or the wage rates, the outsourcing starting salaries has been always above the basic minimum wage rate. According to my calculations, it's about 56% more. And so in terms of the minimum wage rate adjustments, it doesn't quite play because it's already above the minimum wage. However, that does not mean we should be complacent. We are competing with some very aggressive destinations. This outsourcing industry started to move into Latvia and some of these other European countries, into Asia, Southeast Asia. And so we just have to watch that we don't get too far ahead of ourselves in that regard. However, certainly, sir, when you look at the closer economies of Australia, New Zealand, and the US, we remain quite competitive. In terms of the broader issues, Honourable Speaker, sir, I guess some of the challenges that the industry is currently facing is to do with employment. Currently, according to the outsourcing industry, they're struggling to find workers, which is a bit saddening, sir. So we're trying to work together with them to try and ensure that there's a good pipeline of workers coming through to allow the industry to continue to grow. And we hope over the next 12 months, that's certainly going to be a focus for the government. On top of that, data protection, the need to have data protection laws. That is already underway, Honourable Speaker, sir, in terms of consultation with donors, partners. We do have the EU stepping up to actually help us with that regard. So that will create more market readiness, if you like, to take on more larger operations, sir. And of course, in terms of artificial intelligence, how does it look in the next few years against the current BP operations? All I can say is that obviously there'll be a transition, but it demonstrates if we already have capability, we already have 12 people in our country, young men and women, in the AI space, that augurs well. And finally, Honourable Speaker, certainly out of this industry, we are talking about other things like perhaps Fiji being the cybersecurity hub of not only the Pacific but even a global hub. And so these are some of the opportunities that in this very exciting space. It is an excellent opportunity for our young people, and I look forward to working with the government and also the other side in continuing to support this industry, which will do wonderful things for Fiji. I thank you, sir.